Lokati here. Today we are going to be going over our Chaos Witch. We are middle of day 2 on the Chaos Witch. We'll go over the build here in a second, but first things first, let's do some mappings. So we'll grab a boss encounter here and we'll run C15 map. Now, Chaos Witch is relatively tanky, but recovery is very low. So most of the time you're still going to be playing conservatively, not just running in and face tanking everything. So there'll be a lot of just like putting dots out and waiting for things to die. The basic rotation on the build is going to be get a contagion on a target and get an essence drain on the target and let those two dots do most of the work for killing everything. If it's a tankier target, you can put down your totem and your totem will do a tremendous amount of damage. And realistically, the totem is the majority of our single target damage versus bosses. But totem only does good damage while you have multiple chaos dots on the target. So we use Essence Drain, Contagion, and Curse with Decaying Hex on it for 3 chaos dots on the target. And then we run Envenom on the totem itself so that the totem can poison the target, which is a 4th chaos dot on the target. Now this is a fairly button heavy build. We run a total of 6 buttons for bossing, and then between 2 and 3 for mapping. And then all of your ES recovery is through convalescence here. Whenever you start getting low on ES and you're being attacked and you don't have a way to get out of combat to let energy shield recharge do its job, then you can use convalescence to start the energy shield recharge, and that will allow you to recover your ES while you're being hit. Outside of that, we don't have any sort of ES recovery, so we're fairly susceptible to getting hit with continuous damage. You want to be careful about that. So like right here, we can trigger our convalescence and stand near everything. Now, we are a Lich, and so we have good damage reduction through the Lich Ascendancy. We also have explosions that we trigger with Blasphemy on the Lich Ascendancy, which means you'll need to be relatively close to large groups of creatures if you want them to explode. But always try to be safe. Now with Ingenuity, Convalescence has like a 23-second cooldown, so it's up quite often. You don't really have to worry too much about saving it. Just know that when it's on cooldown, you'll have to be a little bit more safe. As a reminder, we are using Unleash with Contagion and Chain with Essence Drain. The primary purpose for that is mobs move around a lot, and it is really hard to Essence Drain the one Contagion mob if you don't have a way to throw out multiple Contagions and multiple Essence Drains quickly. So I do recommend that you keep Chain and Unleash on Contagion and Essence Drain so that you can maximize your uptime on both of those dots. The Contagion with Unleash also allows you to get multiple Unleashes out so they burn through groups faster. When one Essence Drain is going across all the groups, all the mobs in a group, it's relatively slow. When 3 Essence Drains and Contagions are chaining around, stuff tends to die much more quickly. A perfect Jeweler's Orb. That's a good find. Now, bossing is a little bit different. Bossing, we're going to take advantage of Sigil of Power, as well as all of our buttons that we're using for mapping. Remember, try to keep your totem down. It is the majority of your damage versus single target. You're not spamming essence drain into the target. You're just keeping your totem down, and you're keeping your debuffs rolling on the target. And boss down. Now, we'll go over items first. Atziri's Disdain is incredibly strong for us. Get one, if you can, corrupted with 12% damage taken bypasses energy shield. Because of our ascendancy, this means 10% less damage taken. A good roll on the extra life as maximum energy shield is also very nice, since the helm itself doesn't have very much ES on it. I'm running a Ghost Wraith right now because it was cheap and it solves Chaos Res and gets me a ton of ES. However, a really good ES body armor with multiple resistances on it would be more useful. For our weapon, we want spell damage, cast spell skills, and then other useful stats on it. There's nothing complex there. For our focus, we want +2 all spell skills and spell damage and cast damage, as well as some other useful things on there. For our amulet, I'm running a spirit amulet with resistances on it, but I would prefer to have one, again, with spell skills on here. For our rings, we're just getting res rings with life on them, and ideally they would also have cast damage. For our gloves, we want energy shield, and useful resistances or stats. Our belt, we want max life, energy shield, and resistances. This is just a terrible belt. On our boots, we want move speed, energy shield, and resistances. And so gearing on this character is fairly straightforward. There's not a whole lot of complicated things you need to go for. Your wand and your focus are the most important pieces. The rest of this is, for the most part, survivability. Now, there will be other in-game uniques that we can utilize in the build, but this is where we're at on day 2 on the build. For our skill tree here, we are running a weapon swap with Sigil of Power, running Dark Effigy with Envenom, Withering Touch, and Ironwood. I would like to run Overabundance as my 4th link on this. Withering Presence, I'm running Clarity and Mysticism. On Contagion, we are running Arcane Tempo, Unleash, and Magnified Effect. On our Essence Drain, we are running Considered Casting, Swift Affliction, Chain, and Chaos Mastery. On Despair, we are running Heightened Curse, Inspiration, and Decaying Hex. On Convalescence, we're running Persistence, as well as Ingenuity. And on Blasphemy, we're running Temp Chains with Ritualistic Curse and Encumbrance. Once we get 4 links on our Blasphemy, we'll pull Magnified Effect down here onto Blasphemy so that we can get a larger screen area for our Curse explosions. At that point in time, we'll probably run Consumes a Corpse to do more damage on Contagion, or maybe even Chaotic Freeze here so that we can get some Chaos Freezes out from our totem, which will be helpful for clear. As our passive tree goes, it's really straightforward. You're going to take Chaos damage, Chaos damage, Chaos damage, Chaos damage, and Chaos damage. There's also some spell damage here you can take, and some spell damage here you can take, but that'll be all of your damage. The rest of our tree is ES recovery, ES. I did take these stun thresholds from Energy Shield here, which have made a huge difference in us being perpetually small stunned by projectiles. And then later on, we'll probably go down here and take Icebreaker to reduce the amount of freezes that we take on the character as well. For right now, we are getting some additional skill duration up here, which will be useful once we can run Overabundance on our totem so that we don't have to cast it quite so frequently, because the Overabundance will reduce the skill effect by 50%, so we want some additional skill effect duration to counteract that. Now we are utilizing a weapon swap. Our first weapon swap is for damage, which is our chaos damage nodes here. And our second weapon swap is for curse effect. And so we've got all of the curse nodes here and all the curse nodes here. This allows it to trigger faster, have a higher magnitude, last longer, and just huge quality of life and huge damage on our curses right here. And that is all of our setup for the Chaos Switch right now. We will be making changes as we progress with the build, but it's a pretty straightforward build, so it's not real complicated as to what you should do when you should do it. As far as through the leveling process goes, start off, get Contagion. As soon as you can get Essence Drain, which is level 6, get Essence Drain. And then Essence Drain and Contagion are going to carry you. You'll just move up through the tree organically. You spell damage here, come up here, get your cast damage over here, get your cast damage up here. Swing around here, get your spell damage here, get your cast damage here, start picking up some energy shield as you need it, and just move up the tree. There's nothing that you need to rush for, or nothing that is inherently more powerful and more particular than something else. Just move through the tree organically, and you'll feel really good through the leveling process. If you're starting to feel too squishy, then you need to take more ES nodes. If you're starting to feel like your damage is falling off, you need to start taking more chaos nodes. Outside of that, the rest of the skills, you'll just utilize them as soon as you have access to them in the campaign itself. For the small rewards that you take in the campaign, I did take the 10% chaos res because we are not going to be running chaos inoculation. We're not running it because Soulless Form and Eternal Life are such huge bonuses to us for defenses. And so we'll go ahead and run a little bit of Chaos Res. And then this allows 10% of damage taken bypassing ES. We're also running Heavy Buffer up here, which allows 5% of damage taken, and we have 10 from our helmet. So that's 25% damage, bypasses ES, and goes straight to life, which cannot be changed. And so that's 25% damage reduction from Soulless Form, Heavy Buffer, and its Ares Disdain. We're running Rupture the Soul for the chance to explode for extra clear, and we'll be running Crystalline Phylactery for our last Ascendancy node, which just gives us essentially 2 extra jewel slots, but at the benefit of only having to buy 1 jewel. That's also a very, very strong node. Thank you very much for watching. Y'all have a wonderful day. Peace.